Let's start with China and the Outer Space Treaty. I know it's 56 years old. Is China really making a land grab at the moon? Is the U.S. behind China in the space race right now?
So the question is there really a race to the moon between the U.S. and China? And the answer to that is that neither the U.S. nor China have come out and said so much. In fact, the U.S. has downplayed it right along, saying, oh, there's no space race with China. And China has pretty much not said anything either. But the fact of the matter is that there is clearly an unspoken race to get to the moon first. So it's a race on the down low. And in many respects, that's sort of like the way it was in Apollo with the U.S. versus Russia. It was never stated that the U.S. was trying to beat Russia to the moon or Russia was trying to beat the U.S. to the moon. But clearly, that's what it was.
Should we be concerned that they're trying to build their own base there by 2035?
At this point, no, I don't think that, that may be a lot of posturing. But look, China is extremely methodical in everything it does. We just heard the report about the bringing back of the sample from the far side of the moon. That was an historic first. They, in fact, recently successfully tested 3 engines on what is, in fact, their Long March 10 booster, which would be the booster that they would use for any kind of a moon mission. So that was successfully tested. They also, as we just heard, are talking about the Chang'e 8, Chang'e 7 missions that are going to go to the south pole of the moon, looking for those resources. And the primary resource, of course, that they'd be looking for in the south pole, as well as the U.S. would be looking for, is if there's significant amount of water in water ice there that can be used, of course, and would be essential for any kind of a lunar outpost. That's where you'd want to be, where there would be potentially be water.
So if you're saying that if China sets up an outpost and it's near this frozen water, that they would control access to it, that literally this is what this looks like?
Well, the question is, how much is really there? Nobody knows.
To begin with. Listen, we're almost out of time, but I have to ask about the not stranded astronauts. Tell me why these astronauts are not stranded. NASA's saying they're not stranded. It could take up to 90 days. Tell me why.
I don't think it's going to take 90 days, first of all. But the thing is that they can use that vehicle, and NASA and Boeing made it perfectly clear in the teleconference yesterday that, in fact, if they have to, and there's an emergency, they can use the Starliner to get back home. The reason they're staying there, and let's face it, Natasha, the astronauts, Butch and Sonny, are having a great time. They're loving the fact that the mission is extended. Anytime an astronaut can spend more time in space, that's exactly what they want. But leaving the vehicle docked there gives NASA and Boeing more time to test it, to see if they can figure out what went on with those 5 thrusters, 4 of which they recovered, 1 they didn't. But they can't do testing of that back on Earth because these thrusters are attached to the service module, which is expended after the vehicle leaves the station, and it'll burn up in the atmosphere, so there won't be anything left to test.
Okay.
So the extra time there allows them to continue testing in space and back on the ground.
Understood. John, thank you for this. And I also just want to give you a shout out. I know you were just awarded the National Space Club Media Award for a lifetime in space reporting. Congratulations, and thank you for your time tonight. John Zarella, thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. That just says how old I am.
Now, stop. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.